Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Knots Today. I'm Mark Dennison. Hope you're doing all right. Here's what's on the show for you today. Firstly, we've been to the opening of the refurbished radiology unit supporting procedures to remove blood clots from brains.
And with the help of this brand new X-ray machine, we navigate all the way to the brain and try to remove or take the clot out so that the brain can get the blood back, and it will limit the disability the patient is going to have.
That's just part of an extended health feature at the start of the show, and we'll also be looking at how the city's hospitals are preparing for winter pressure. We went down to the QMC yesterday to speak to the hospital trust and hear how patients should expect corridor care during busy periods over the winter. We've also been hearing from shoppers, businesses and the council about new parking measures in Bingham.
It is a problem with people parking all day long. You want to pop in here for half an hour, you've got nowhere to park.
All for it. The problem was before, the car park would be full up with people who were working in Nottingham.
Later on, we'll also be talking to a Nottingham charity doing collections to support the less fortunate this Christmas. Bags of Blessings will put collection boxes in local schools, businesses and churches. One of its organisers will be here on the show to tell you how you can get involved. In sport, Notts County head coach Stuart Maynard is full of praise for forward Kedwin Scott after he scored on his return from a mental health leave of absence.
Back in the National League, obviously injured all last year and then had a bit of a stoppy start season so far, so now it's always nice to hit the back of the net even in trainings and games, whatever game it is.
All of that, plenty more coming up for you. But firstly, today was the reopening of a unit at the Queen's Medical Centre aimed at helping those who've suffered from a stroke. The new interventional radiology department has been refurbished to carry out mechanical thrombectomy procedures, which will help those who've had strokes to recover and to reduce the risk of long-term disabilities. It was opened by staff and former patients who came to celebrate the ward's new look, as Jack Sims reports.
You ready? A red ribbon seemed well suited to open NUH's new department that seeks to remove blood clots and prevent patients suffering a stroke. The refurbishment of the QMC's interventional radiology unit has taken 2 years and more than £13 million to complete. But it's now ready to deliver life-saving treatment to hundreds of people across the East Midlands. Patients such as 57-year-old Kevin Freestone, who suffered a stroke just last month. He was invited to open the unit and come face-to-face with the staff and technology that he says saved his life.
Yeah, I woke up having a stroke. I didn't know what was happening to me, but I really... it was strange, very strange.
The speed that the ambulance was there, they were there within 15 minutes. They didn't waste any time getting him to the right place. It's testament to the staff, but also the machinery that they've got, that he's standing here, with very little, evidence of the stroke.
Having a stroke, yeah. It's emotional, very emotional, to meet the doctor that helped me, yeah.
Inside these theatres are new mechanical thrombectomy machines. They will remove blood clots from arteries within the brain of stroke patients. Dr. Sujit Nair, a consultant radiologist, says the machines will enable patients to recover faster and prevent long-term disabilities.
This is a new procedure. When the patient is referred to us, they come into the hospital, we put them to sleep, we make a tiny little hole in the groin, and with the help of this brand new X-ray machine, we navigate all the way to the brain and try to remove or take the clot out so that the brain can get the blood back, and it will limit the disability the patient is going to have.
The renovations have added more bays, beds and staff facilities to the unit. In the new year, it will provide a 24/7 service, all to help cope with the growing number of patients that will come from across the East Midlands.
We are trying to ramp up our opening to 24/7, and that means that we'll likely more than double the number of patients we see from a mechanical thrombectomy perspective, which is great for the East Midlands region, because as a major trauma centre we get a bulk of the referrals for that treatment.
The unit is now looking to train more staff to use the technology that will save the lives of hundreds across the county. But for the staff here, just seeing some of the people they've cared for is a reminder of all the positive outcomes already being delivered. Jack Sims, for Notts TV.
We're actually going to stay with healthcare in our first chat of the show. That's because we're talking about winter pressures in our hospitals. As we discussed briefly on yesterday's show, it's that time of year again when the city's hospitals start outlining their plans to cope with increased demand over the winter months. That's usually due to an influx of hospital admissions caused by things like more respiratory illness. Well, yesterday, hospital leaders warned patients may face some delays in getting onto wards that could even be treated on beds in corridors. Our local democracy reporter, Lauren Monaghan, joins me now to tell you more about this. And Lauren, hello. You were at the QMC yesterday, weren't you? What was the focus of the talk there?
Yeah, so I was there yesterday. The focus of the tour was not so much about corridor care, but it was about how they've freed up around 100 beds, and this is concerning medically safe patients. So these are patients that are clinically safe to leave and they've been waiting more than a day for discharge, but there's some other factors that are just halting that discharge. And there was a peak in January this year. I suppose we could have called it last winter's winter peak. That was about 250 patients on one day in January that were waiting to be discharged. So they're now saying that there's around 100 fewer than that time.
We're not yet in winter this year. How are things looking right now?
So I will just preface this by saying these are the figures that were given to me and other members around 1 p.m. yesterday. So it could look a bit different today. So around yesterday, around 1 p.m, there was 92 medically safe patients that were waiting to be discharged across the Trust NUH. So they're saying that this is between 50 and 100 patients lower than this time last year. So they're seeing some real improvement as a year-to-year comparison. So basically what this does is it improves patient flow across the hospitals. So if there's more patients that are getting discharged, there's less waiting times in emergency departments, and there's quicker movement for patients that are waiting for a bed elsewhere in the hospital. But we need to remember that the Queen's Medical Centre A&E department is second busiest in the country. And in October 2023, there was 687 people going through A&E roughly a day. The building, well, the department itself was actually built for around 350, so it was already working way at capacity. And yesterday, between midnight and 1 p.m, when I was there was 340 patients that had gone through A&E just between that time, and the day hadn't even ended yet. And some of them, saw with my own eyes, were in trolleys. So as of 1 p.m, there was 180 in A&E, 30 in the majors unit, and 22 were waiting for a bed elsewhere in the hospital. One patient was waiting around 26 hours since about 10 a.m. the day before to be moved into a hospital bed. So it's about between 500 and 600 a day, which is around the same as last year. So if we're talking averages, same sort of figure as last year going through A&E.
I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm sure people will be concerned at the mention of corridor care. So what are the trusts saying about that?
Yeah, so this was something that I think the Trust knew they were going to have to comment on yesterday, because us and the other media present, we actually saw it with our own eyes. So Mark Simmons, the Deputy Medical Director at the Trust, he's still predicting it. In his own words, he says that we could expect significant amounts of corridor care, but he wants to reassure people that they will still get the care that they need, even if they are not in a bay and they're in the corridor, they'll still be getting the pain medication that they need and the care that they need overall.
So I guess with that in mind, what are they planning to do around corridor care, and how are they going to cope with that on the horizon?
So the NUH Trust, they're opening up 2 temporary wards. So there's going to be one at the City Hospital that will be open for around 17 weeks over the winter period. And at the QMC, this one will be open for about 4 weeks, and both of those units are going to have around 28 beds. So again, this is designed to help with that patient flow through the hospital, so there's less of a demand on A&E.
We'll leave it there for now. Lauren, thank you very much indeed for the update. We'll see how things pan out, of course. Let's have a look at some more news headlines now. And firstly, police are asking for help after a teenage girl was attacked at a city centre bus stop. The incident happened while the girl was waiting for a bus on Upper Parliament Street about 7:30 p.m. on Friday, September the 27th. Nottinghamshire police say the incident happened at the bus stop and they've been making several lines of inquiry. The force have released the CCTV image on your screen now, and they say anyone who can help can call them on 101. Next, the force has made an arrest as they investigate a series of suspected arson attacks in Hucknall. Emergency services were called to fires in Griffiths Way, Paget Close, Story Gardens and Wyburn Lane between 10 p.m. on Monday, November the 11th and 20 past midnight on Tuesday. A total of 5 vehicles, a wheelie bin and a fence were damaged during the incidents. Now, a 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of arson and remains in police custody for questioning. We're going to take a short break now. Maybe go and get yourself a brew or something. Knock yourself out. We will be back in just a few moments' time, heading to Bingham to talk car parking there. It's a contentious issue, of course. We're also meeting the charity sourcing Christmas donations for disadvantaged children as well. And we'll be checking out your sport in detail later in the show as well. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to Wednesday's Nuts Today. I'm Mark Dennison. Hope you're doing all right. Here's what's happening in our county. Firstly, a Nottingham councillor says the city is crying out for more foster carers to support huge costs in children's services. Shira Barnard, who's the authority's portfolio holder for children, says costs for a single child in the city can be as high as £20,000 a week, and criticised profiteering by private care firms. She wants more foster carers to come forward and look after the kids in the city to reduce the number of children needing support from the current figure of more than 600. And the Prime Minister has placed better flood protection for places like Broxtowe following damage caused by Storm Henk. Sir Keir Starmer made the pledge in PMQs today after being questioned by the borough's MP Juliet Campbell. She asks what help is on offer for areas like hers after heavy rainfall in January this year led to people facing significant hardship. He confirmed £2.4 billion is being invested into flood resilience nationally, alongside creating a task force to better coordinate local flood protection. Going to move on now to a new parking scheme in Bingham. It's been praised by locals who say it's allowing them to get into town in the run-up to Christmas. But businesses there have warned they could impact their ability to run their shops. New tariffs and improved machines were put in place in Newgate Street and Needham Street car parks yesterday. That gives shoppers 2 hours of free parking and replaces a previous 12-hour offer, which some say led to people using the town as a park and ride into Nottingham. Izzy Fikulak has more.
Free parking, it's something many of us take for granted when visiting our town centres, or even wish we had when places don't have it. But for people living here in Bingham, a new council project could lead to more people coming into town. Or at least that's what the locals here think. Rushcliffe Borough Council's changes came into effect on Tuesday, allowing shoppers to park in Needham Street and Newgate Street car parks for 2 hours without charge. That's down from a previous offer of 12 hours for free. But shoppers in the town believe it'll stop people effectively using the town as a park and ride.
It is a problem with people parking all day long. You want to pop in here for half an hour, you've got nowhere to park. This morning come in and there's no end of places. It's brilliant.
The problem was before the car park would be full up with people who were working in Nottingham, just abandoning the cars here and going in. Now there's going to be a rotation through, so.
This is one of the reasons why the council brought in the change to begin with. Daryl Birch, who's head of service for neighbourhoods, said the old arrangements led to lower footfall through Bingham.
We're here today talking to residents and users and just reminding them it's 2 hours with a free voucher from the machine, and hopefully What that will do, as you can see behind us, is start to free up some spaces so that people are able to come into Bingham and enjoy everything that Bingham's got to offer. Ultimately, we are really keen to support local business and support the local economy in Bingham.
But not all people are happy with the move. While the council have offered permits that mean businesses can park a short walk away in Bingham Arena, some business owners believe the removal of the 12-hour free parking will impact their ability to work in town.
Already there's rumblings, people are complaining. 2 hours free parking, absolutely fabulous, that's great. However, if you wanted to park longer, then it's going to cost you to park for over 4 hours £10. People who work in Bingham, they're going to have absolutely nowhere to park, which means they're just going to end up parking on the streets. If people can't get parked to come in and do their jobs, then they'll just find somewhere else to go and shop.
The 2-hour offer is specific to the 2 town centre car parks. Anyone wanting to park any longer will face charges, but the council hopes in the run-up to Christmas, businesses will see more customers walking through their doors. Izzy Fekulak for Notts TV.
Thank you, Izzy. Now, a Nottingham-based charity is handing out toys to kids who may otherwise go without presents this Christmas. Bags of Blessings collects toys for children of all ages across the county and does it by handing out boxes of stationery, books and toys to local schools, churches and small businesses. Co-founder Chris Shooter joins me now to tell us more and to tell you how you can get involved as well. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Is this the first time you've done this?
First time I've done Bags of Blessings. No, we started in 2018.
Wow.
So we're in our 7th campaign now.
Yeah. It must be an awful, hugely rewarding, but a lot of work to go into this every year for nigh on 7 years. What's it been like?
It can be very, very hectic at times, very full on. There is a lot of planning goes into it. We've got collection points throughout the city, 53 collection points, so we have to zoom around them, bringing stuff back to base, sorting it, packing it, and then we've got a whole army of police cadets who wrap everything for us.
So they're all wrapped as well?
Everything's wrapped.
Gosh,
yeah.
That's a lot of wrapping paper as well, isn't it?
It certainly is.
So how does it work? You mentioned there the collection points. And we'll tell people watching how they can get involved in just a minute. So the idea is you collect all of these toys and other bits and bobs in various places.
Yes, we do. They are churches, schools, businesses. And then we do get some cash donations too, which means that we can go out and we can fill the gaps where there's a shortfall in donations.
How big is the need for this, not just this year, in all those previous years you've been doing this as well?
When we started in 2018, we had a target of 200 bags to fill, and we filled 335. Last year, we were actually 4 short of 2,000.
Wow.
And I checked on the Notts County website a few weeks ago to see just how many children in Nottinghamshire were living in poverty, and I was astounded to find out that there's more than 33,000 children in our shire living in poverty.
It's brilliant what you and your colleagues do, but isn't it so sad that
absolutely.
You need to do it?
Yes, yeah, it is. It's tragic, and we know we've got a huge mountain to climb, but we gradually, year on year, we're getting more support from the community so that we can pack more bags and help more children.
Can you tell us about the other end of the operation then? Once you've got these collection points, the cadets do their wrapping, and then what happens? What happens with delivery?
Well, again, we've got a lot of volunteers who load the cars up and take them out to food banks. We've got 3 or 4 units of framework, units that have children or teenagers, and various other charities. They're all charitable organisations that we support. Our drivers take them out and then come back and fill the cars up and off they go again. We do it all all the deliveries are done within 2 weeks.
Wow, you really are Santa's helpers, aren't you?
Helps at work.
Yeah. Do you ever sort of see the end result of this? Because I would imagine in some ways it must be amazing, very emotional though, to see people's faces when they get one of your bags.
We have a couple of charities who send us videos. So we see the children when they're opening the bags, and it brings tears every year. It makes me cry.
Yeah. All right, now we can't name all the locations where you've got your collection points, but what's the best way of people finding where they are?
Well, we're on Facebook, and all of our collection points or drop-off points are all listed on our Facebook page, and we have a website, bagsofblessingsnottingham.org, and they're all listed on there too.
And on the Facebook page, that will be Bags of Blessings.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Chris, thank you for coming in. It's amazing what you and your team are doing, so
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Time now for your sport this evening. Notts County grabbed a 1-0 win at home to Leicester City under-21s with a Kedwin Scott match winner in the 30th minute being the only goal of the game. That's his first appearance since taking a break to improve his mental health. The win wasn't enough to secure the Magpies a place in the EFL Trophy knockouts though, finishing the tournament third in the group, and afterwards Kedwin said it was good to be back on the pitch and scoring goals.
Back in the National League, obviously injured all last year and then had a bit of a stoppy start season so far, so now it's always nice to hit the back of the net even in trainings and games, whatever game it is. So yeah, hopefully it feels like a bit of a fresh start and I can just kick on and try and get involved in the squad again, playing in front of the fans. So to get a little taste of that again, albeit in a sort of under-21 cup game, then it's still a very good feeling.
Staying with football, Nottingham Forest women maintained their unbeaten league record at the weekend with a 2-0 win away at West Brom. Came through goals from Mel Johnson and Molly Green, with the Reds sitting second in the Northern Premier Division, just below Wolves. It came after head coach Carly Davis signed a new deal with the Reds, and speaking after the game, she praised West Brom's game plan.
They really frustrated us. They were really compact. Had a clear plan, and that was to try and hurt us on a counter-attack, and I think they had that chance towards the back end of the game where they'll probably feel hard done by that they didn't take it, but we tweaked a few things. We tweaked the shape just to help us to be a little bit more compact in central areas. I don't think we managed to transition well enough because we were expansive, and once we did that, I think the last 15 minutes we looked a little bit better. So there's definitely some things for us to go away and review and reflect on.
Ice hockey now, and your weekly reminder about our Nottingham Panthers game showing right here tonight. We'll have all the goals from the side's 4-2 loss at home to arch rivals Sheffield Steelers at the Motorpoint Arena on Saturday evening. A full 2-hour show with all the action will be here at 9 p.m, straight after Team Talk. It'll also show again tomorrow morning at 11:30. Time now for your photo of the day. Nice one this, lovely shot of the River Trent by Nikenda Louise on Instagram. Thank you for that. Keep your photos coming to us via our socials. Weather forecast, down to about 7 degrees overnight tonight. Tomorrow, guess what? Correct, it's another cloudy day. Highs of 11 and lows of 8. And finally, guess what? Friday. Yes, cloudy again. Highs of 11 and lows of 8. I'm really not getting bored of this cloudy weather day in, day out at all. Breathe. We're going to take another short break, finding out why Broxtowe Borough Council is handing out fruit trees in just a moment. Welcome back to Wednesday's show. I'm Mark Dennison. Hope you're doing all right. Here's what's happening in Notts today. Firstly, the annual Winter Wonderland Christmas Market has officially opened in the city centre. The event in Old Market Square is running right through to the end of the Christmas festivities. Easy for me to say. That includes things like the slide, ice rink, arts and crafts and various food stalls, plus the big wheel that opened this afternoon. The official ribbon cutting is taking place tomorrow. We'll be there throughout tomorrow's show, broadcasting from the Winter Wonderland itself. Next, Gedling MP Michael Payne has written to the County Council voicing concerns about the authority's planned 10-year library strategy. The council is consulting on introducing a new tiered library system, which should see sites separated into hub libraries, community libraries, access points and mobile locations. The council says the new model would reflect specific community needs, but in a letter, Labour MP Michael Payne voiced concerns about the future of sites in his borough, which are relied upon by residents. The council's consultation closes today. Time now for your What's On guide, where we have a little look at, you've guessed it, what's on this evening. So if you fancy getting out and doing something, one or two ideas coming your way. Kicking off at the West Bridgford Library is their night of live jazz with Jazz Steps. Jazz, nice. Starts at 7:30, tickets are £13. Alternatively, for a bit of thrash core, which I love, you can go to Saltbox at Spalera Square for a night of music from Tortured Demon. That one starts right after this show ends, and tickets cost £13. Not too late, there are still a few left. And last but not least, if you are single and ready to mingle, then you can head to Slug and Lettuce for 7:30. Tickets are £22. You need to be between the ages of 28 and 45 for that. Whatever you do with your evening, enjoy. Now, this year saw the return of a tree planting initiative by Broxtowe Borough Council as they aim to hit net zero by 2027. The Free Trees scheme is handing over more than 600 fruit trees and bushes, growing apples, pears and berries to Broxtowe residents to promote sustainable growing as part of their aim to become better environmentally sustainable. The initiative is already fully subscribed to local residents keen to get green fingers, and portfolio holder for environment and climate change at the council, Helen Skinner, joins us now to tell you more about this. Welcome, nice to see you.
Hello.
I mentioned there it's obviously not your first time doing this scheme. How does it work?
We advertise it every year, and people go online on the Broxtowe website and apply. They're invited to apply. Sometimes it's just native trees, sometimes it's been fruit trees, but this year, to accommodate people with smaller gardens, we've added fruit bushes as well. So some people have had pears and apple trees, some people have had I think loganberries and raspberries, or they're going to get them. They haven't received them yet, but they've applied for them. So we encourage people to look after them and let us know how they're getting on. You know, sometimes they send in pictures of how the trees are growing,
right.
which is
so
really nice.
So you can see it from when it was that to when it
Yeah,
a great
because
big tree.
like last year's especially, they just looked like little twigs when they were given to them. And I thought, well, this is a bit embarrassing, but you know, they do grow. But the main thing about it is that we ask that people are part of the Green Rewards scheme, and that's where we're really doing most of our work. And it's a county-wide initiative, so people can sign up to the Green Rewards platform online on their phones and everything. And then you're encouraged to do things like have a 4-minute shower, wash at 30 degrees or lower, and try not to waste food, not buy plastic stuff, you know, and you get points for doing that. And then it goes ward by ward, and the person with the highest points might get a voucher for something, and the ward with the consistently highest points gets something for their area that they choose. Like, for instance, Nuttall were the winners recently, and they've chosen to have bat boxes in their area. So there's an incentive for people to do that, and we ask them to do that before they apply for the free trees. So
right.
At the moment, we've got 7,000 people signed up.
Wow,
to
that's
the
a
Green
lot.
Rewards. It is.
It's an awful lot. So I mentioned at the beginning you were already fully subscribed for
Yes,
this
we
year,
are.
and there might be people watching thinking, oh, I want a piece of this. I would like a tree or a fruit bush, whatever. Will you be doing it again next year? Do you know?
Yeah, we've done it 6 years running now.
Right.
We will do it again. It's really popular, but there are lots of other tree planting opportunities as well, because whenever we get funding, we plant trees, and other people try and grow trees, grow saplings and look after them, and then the council advises them on where they can put them. So there's lots of people wanting to grow trees.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
So this is all part, and you mentioned there some of the other ideas you've got, having a shorter shower and reducing food waste and things like that. So this is all part of your drive to be net zero by 2027. I just wonder how confident you're feeling about hitting that target.
Well, you have to be confident, don't you, and optimistic. You know, 2027 is very ambitious. I think it's the quickest that I know of anybody. Even the city said 2028 and they thought they were amazing. The government are saying something like 2050. So we're a little council, but we are very ambitious. You know, we're really keen and the staff are very committed, and so are people. You know, people want to be part of this. So I'd like to think that we will do it. With the Green Rewards, I think so far the members of that have saved 470 tonnes of carbon, which is a lot. In the weight of elephants, it's the equivalent to 47 African elephants. So if you can imagine carbon like that, it's a lot.
Yeah, but that helps to
It
imagine,
does.
because often we hear about, you know, the need to be more environmentally friendly and doing all of these things. So to actually put it in those pictures in people's minds is very important. Helen, appreciate you coming in and telling us more. Thank you very much indeed. And once again, if you live in Broxtowe, if you would like to get involved in this fruit tree and fruit bush scheme for 2025, keep an eye on the website. Thank you very much indeed, Helen. Thank you. Time now for a reminder of your top story. Today was the reopening of a unit at Queen's Medical Centre aimed at helping those who've suffered from a stroke. The new interventional radiology department has been refurbished to carry out mechanical thrombectomy procedures, which help those who've had strokes to recover and to reduce the risk of long-term disabilities. It was opened by staff and former patients who came to celebrate the ward's new look, as Jack Sims reports.
You ready? A red ribbon seemed well suited to open NUH's new department that seeks to remove blood clots and prevent patients suffering a stroke. The refurbishment of the QMC's interventional radiology unit has taken 2 years and more than £13 million to complete. But it's now ready to deliver life-saving treatment to hundreds of people across the East Midlands. Patients such as 57-year-old Kevin Freestone, who suffered a stroke just last month. He was invited to open the unit and come face to face with the staff and technology that he says saved his life.
Yeah, I woke up having a stroke. I didn't know what was happening to me, but I really, you know, it was strange, very strange.
The speed that the ambulance was there, they were there within 15 minutes. They didn't waste any time getting him to the right place. It's testament to the staff, but also the machinery that they've got, that he's standing here, you know, with very little, you know, evidence of the stroke.
Having a stroke, yeah. It's emotional, very emotional, to meet the doctor that helped me, yeah.
Inside these theatres are new mechanical thrombectomy machines. They will remove blood clots from arteries within the brain of stroke patients. Dr. Sujit Nair, a consultant radiologist, says the machines will enable patients to recover faster and prevent long-term disabilities.
This is a new procedure. When the patient is referred to us, they come into the hospital, we put them to sleep, we make a tiny little hole in the groin, and with the help of this brand new X-ray machine, we navigate all the way to the brain and try to remove or take the clot out so that the brain can get the blood back, and it will limit the disability the patient is going to have.
The renovations have added more bays, beds and staff facilities to the unit. In the new year, it will provide a 24/7 service, all to help cope with the growing number of patients that will come from across the East Midlands.
We are trying to ramp up our opening to 24/7, and that means that we'll likely more than double the number of patients we see from a mechanical thrombectomy perspective, which is great for the East Midlands region, because as a major trauma centre we get a bulk of the referrals for that treatment.
The unit is now looking to train more staff to use the technology that will save the lives of hundreds across the county. But for the staff here, just seeing some of the people they've cared for is a reminder of all the positive outcomes already being delivered. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Let's now have a look at what else is happening in Notts today. Firstly, a persistent shoplifter has been jailed and told to keep away from shops he targeted. 35-year-old Aaron Kelly raided supermarkets, food shops and clothes stores in Clifton, West Bridgford and Chilwell throughout October and early November this year. On one occasion, he grabbed handfuls of air fresheners from a Clifton shop before threatening a security guard. Kelly, of no fixed address, admitted to 9 counts of shoplifting in Nottingham Magistrates Court on Monday. He was jailed for 12 weeks. And staying with shoplifting, police managed to arrest 4 suspected shoplifters in Mansfield. That's after an incident at a town centre retail park. Officers in the town were alerted to a theft at St Peter's Retail Park just before 6:30 on Monday evening. A PCSO tracked a car to a nearby car park and recovered more than £1,500 worth of stolen clothes, cosmetics and other items. 2 men aged 24 and 23 and 2 women aged 34 and 22 were arrested on suspicion of theft. We're going to take one more break in just a moment. Don't go anywhere because we've got lots more coming up, including meeting the Nottingham tattooist who's just been awarded as a Black Business Person of the Year. She'll be on the sofa in just a few moments' time, and we'll preview the book club as well, which is back this month. Hello, welcome back to Notts Today with me, Mark Dennison. Happy Wednesday. Here's what's happening in our county today. Firstly, gritting lorries are back on the county's roads as temperatures begin to drop. Nottinghamshire County Council confirmed its gritters have been on standby since the start of the month, and they were first used for this winter on Tuesday. That was the first run of the season. Temperatures nearing freezing on some roads this week. Teams will be out throughout this week and into the coming winter months, dropping salt and grit on roads from 7:30 p.m. Next, and from the ground to the sky actually, as a government minister has praised the key role East Midlands Airport plays in driving growth into the region's economy. Gareth Thomas MP, who's the Minister for Exports in the Department for Business and Trade, says the airport is pivotal in helping the Midlands to develop and sell products right across the world. That's because it's the UK's main air freight hub and supports more than 17,000 jobs. At a recent summit, the Minister said the airport is important for various international industries. Now, a tattoo artist from Bestwood Village has recently been honoured with being Black Business Person Award in recognition for her work as Nottingham's first female black entrepreneur in the tattoo industry. Sarah Louise Powell has been inking up Nottingham residents with cool designs for more than 11 years through blending different styles of tattooing like medieval and Afrocentric looks. She joins me now to talk about the award and her career as well. Hello, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
I was just admiring your tattoos, and we were saying it would be a bit weird if you didn't have tattoos, but you're giving other people tattoos.
Yes.
How many have you got?
Oh gosh, too many to mention. To be honest.
And do you do your own, or does someone else do it?
A long time ago, I did sort of practice on myself, but not anymore.
Right.
Too painful.
Okay. So I mentioned you've been doing this 11 years. How did you get into tattooing?
I was quite lucky actually. One of my best friends asked me to design a tattoo for him, and he ended up taking it to the tattoo artist, and they were impressed by my work. I'm an illustrator, so I graduated in 2011, so I've always been artistic. Yeah, he asked the tattoo artist to do this tattoo for him, and basically, yeah, he was impressed and asked, oh, who is she? Is she looking for an apprenticeship or to get into tattooing? And I was a freelanced illustrator at the time, and I sort of got really scared and thought, oh, I don't think I could get into tattooing, and researched a bit about it and emailed and managed to get myself in.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So what's the best thing about the job?
Meeting lots of people, to be honest. I know tattooing usually is like the best answer, but meeting all walks of life and actually making people feel confident about their skin and themselves, basically. So yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah, because I would imagine part of your job, I suppose in some ways hairdressers say it's a similar thing. They are hairdressers and hairstylists. They're often counsellors as well, because people open up, don't they, when they're sitting there or lying there.
Yeah.
And you'll talk about all kinds of things, won't you?
I feel like because they're able to be a bit vulnerable and talk about themselves, it allows people to open up and feel comfortable in the chair, which is what I love, really, to be honest.
Yeah. And I would imagine you must get some people coming in who are umming and ahhing about having a tattoo anyway. So your job is to kind of give them both sides of the story, but also make them feel at ease.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's nerve-wracking, obviously, when you've not met somebody before and then they're going to be responsible for marking you forever. But I think I like to have a chat with people, sit them down and go through their design and make them feel at ease before the process starts. And then usually my sessions are quite short anyway, so at least they're not in the chair for too long.
Yeah. Listen, we should talk about the award. Congratulations, by the way. How did it feel to win?
Thank you. I'm still buzzing. It's still not processed or sat in, really, to be honest with you. I'm very, very proud.
Did you know was it one of those nights you knew you were going to win, or was it a big surprise?
No, not at all. There was many businesses there that were up for the award, and I just couldn't believe it. I genuinely couldn't. I had no idea.
So what were you going to do? You were just thinking, well, it's a nice night out. We can see you all glammed up there. Were you thinking, well, it's a nice night out, I'll have some food and then go home?
I'd known I was nominated, but I didn't think I'd made it to the runners-up, really. I was just going along with the event, and when I heard she's the first black tattoo artist in Nottingham, I thought, well, it's only me at that time. So I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe what's happening. So yeah, cloud nine.
Brilliant. And what's it going to do? I mean, obviously it's a boost for you, and it must be, well, as you say, it's a lovely feeling. What will it do for you moving forward?
I hope it champions me to go further with my business, really. Tattooing is such a big booming business, and there's so many people in Nottingham that tattoo, but I want to hope that I can put the steadway for black tattooers in the Midlands in particular to keep pushing forward and getting themselves out there, really. I hope that award proves that you can do that as an entrepreneur and within tattooing as an industry.
Good luck with that. Before I let you go, what's been the most challenging design you've ever had to ink on someone?
Oh gosh, throughout the years it's so hard to pick just one. Family members. Tattooing my auntie was a difficult one.
Their face?
No. I did a design.
You tattooed your auntie, right? Yeah. Okay.
You're just like, oh gosh, it's family's on the line, so I've got to make sure it's properly right.
Shout out to your auntie, by the way. It's been great to meet you. Thank you for coming in. Well done on the award.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Brilliant stuff. Now, it might be the international break this weekend, so there are no games for Forest or Mansfield. But with Harrogate goalkeeper and Notts fan James Belshaw on Team Talk tonight at 8, there is still plenty to talk about. James talks about how he was playing alongside Forest Elliot Anderson, his games against his beloved Notts County this season, and conceding 9 last year to Mansfield. Have a look.
With Forest fans now, people will look at Carlos Miguel and go, he's 6'8", he comes and gets that. Does he? Because if there's bodies in the way, whether you're 6'8" or 5'4", you ain't going to get there.
People, why would you do that? Because people tend to really hate listen, no, listen.
Whose idea was it to get 2 goalkeepers on this show, man?
You're an individual within a team. First of all, you wear a different colour kit, so you're automatically your own person within that team. And like you alluded to at the start, if you make a mistake, 9 times out of 10 it's a goal. And the first port of call everyone looks at is, could the goalkeeper do better? And that's the first port of call I look at as a goalkeeper. Could I do better?
You've got a unique insight because you played and you've trained alongside Elliot Anderson, who Forest fans are purring about, you know, almost like we can't believe that we've got this guy from Newcastle. Give us an assessment of Elliot.
Hey, well done, pat in the back to the manager, and I love these goals. I love these goals.
Talking about the Stags, this is where I get my revenge for you beating me in the fantasy football team in Ragdale-on-Trent. Me and Charlie went to see Harrogate at the One Call last season on a Tuesday night, cold Tuesday night.
I missed that one.
You missed a few. It finished Mansfield Town 9, Harrogate 2. Yeah. You are one of the few goalkeepers in the Football League that's probably had 9 put past them.
So that's Team Talk on later, and straight afterwards we'll be showing you all the goals from Nottingham Panthers' most recent home game. It's a 2-hour show starting at 9 tonight, following the side's 4-2 loss against arch rivals Sheffield Steelers at the Motorpoint on Saturday evening. The loss leaves the Panthers 7th in the Elite League after 9 games, with 2 away matches coming up this weekend for Danny Stewart's side. And another thing we've shown on Notts TV this week has been the latest episode of The Book Club, which aired here on Tuesday nights and is showing at various times across the month, and of course on our official YouTube channel as well. This time we're cozying up with some vivid and moving short stories by Leila Ababulela in Elsewhere Home. This is the first time short stories have featured on Book Club, so Becky and the panel explore the challenges of getting a book like this published and what they thought to the themes covered in it. Have a look.
How difficult is it to publish a book of short stories?
Wow, that's such an amazing question. Well, it's not something that I've done with my publisher yet. It's certainly not something that we would shy away from, but so far we've kind of mostly stuck to poetry, although we have signed a novel for a couple of years' time, which is very much off the record, even though I'm saying it on TV. But yeah, I think I've heard from a lot of people working in short fiction that it can be hard to publish a collection of short stories. Yeah. But I think, you know, now and then a book comes along that just kind of blows people away, and I think this is certainly one of them. Yeah. And I think of one of my favourite authors is Miranda July, and her collection of short stories, No One Belongs Here, More Than You, was kind of for me like a real standout book in that year when it came out. So I think certain titles kind of managed to break through. Yeah. But it does seem to be a bit harder.
I think if you've got a writer who manages to publish a collection of short stories, you know you're onto something good, because it's not a form which publishers agree to publishing lightly. So I'm delighted that we've got short stories on the Book Club.
I just think it just does everything with class and skill. It's just very, very subtle and skillfully done. I don't think these stories are like incredibly dramatic, but it's powerfully understated. You know, those last paragraphs, they leave you wanting more. They leave you lingering, and I think that's a real skill. Yeah, I thought it was really impressive, and I think the voices are the key to that in many.
Photo of the daytime. Lovely shot taken by Mikenda Louise on Instagram. It's River Trent, by the way. Keep your photos coming, and the weather forecast tonight, temperatures down to 7 degrees. Cloudy day again tomorrow, 11 the high, 8 the low, and similar really on Friday, once again quite overcast. Highs of 11 Celsius down to 8 on Friday evening. That is pretty much the end of the show. Thank you to all of our brilliant guests and to the team behind the scenes here. Emma's back at 5:30 to do it all over again with Notts Today. Bye-bye.